Hey guys, God bless. Welcome back to Twist and Shout. And today I have a DIY we're shouting about. This will help grow your hair. And first things first, we're going to deal with ingredients. I'm just going to show y'all a glimpse of what I use to do my growth oil. Here is some crushed rosemary, organic. Please, if you can, get organic or at least virgin. At least. Here's some organic thyme. And as you can see, I have the Walmart brand, I have the Food Line brand. Doesn't matter. Just try to make sure it's organic. I have also organic rub sage. And also, I'm going to be coming with some nettle leaf that's already crushed. I ordered this online on eBay. But of course, wherever you can get it from, just make sure it's organic and it's pure. Does not have any chemicals in it whatsoever. I also have some amla powder. And of course, I threw away my original packaging. But again, this was also ordered from, no, I'm sorry, this was from Burlington. Here's some fenugreek seeds that are also ordered from eBay. And I will drop the link below. And we're going to mix all these goodies together, y'all. And trust me, you want to get in on this. Here is the Hannah with the 9 goodness of herbs. So instead of buying all the different powders, this one actually has everything that you need to grow your hair, including brahmi, shikakai, neem, amla. And even though it already has amla in it, I got additional amla because Hannah can be drying. So I want this to be as moisturizing as possible. And of course, again, we're going to mix all these goodies up. And this is to stimulate growth, to promote growth, to heal your scalp, and help elongate your hair the easy way. And it will speed up the process. I have here 100% grapeseed oil. This is the only grapeseed oil that I use. This brand is in Walmart and Food Line and should be in any grocery store. Here is organic coconut cooking oil. FYI, the liquid is expensive than the solid, but for this cold press, we need liquid. Also, we have organic extra virgin olive oil. This, again, can be in Walmart or Food Line or any grocery store. It doesn't matter. Just make sure it is organic and check the date. Please check the date. All right, so we have a funnel. We have measuring spoons for table and teaspoon, as you can see. And we're going to mostly deal with a tablespoon today for this size jar. But of course, this is based on your needs. So whatever you need, you figure that out. But this is just the basis. And this jar is, I believe it's a pint. I believe. But we're not going to fill up anyway. And of course, you're going to use a measuring cup of your choice. This is a half a cup. And this is just to make things a little easier. Because again, we're going to try to measure down the size. Because usually I make too much. And here is, if you have this, this is better. This is a 4-cup measurement or up to 4 cups. All right, so now we're getting down to the nitty gritty, y'all. All right, once your funnel is on top of your glass as such, which FYI, this funnel is too small. I needed a larger one, but we're going to get to that in a second. All right, so it's time to mix our product together. And I'm just clearing space here, which is still going to get messy, but I'm going to start with the dry ingredients first. So here we have fenugreek seeds. Fenugreek will add shine, strength, and moisture to your hair. Very, very good. If you don't get nothing else, be sure to get this, please. And I'm only doing like 3/4 of a half a cup, if that makes sense. And again, this is because we're dealing with a smaller size jar. And I'm not trying to make that much, but I'm trying to do a ratio where it's stronger with less oils used, if that makes sense. And as you can see, my funnel hole is way too small and I'm struggling. So please don't make this mistake I made. But we're going to correct it later on in the video. But please bear with me, y'all. And as you can see, I end up pouring it into this. And this is why I say this thing right here, y'all, is only 97 cents at Walmart. And the pouring or the spout that it has makes things so much easier when it comes to situations like this. So please try to get that. You should find it at your dollar store as well. And again, dry ingredients first, because you want it to be at the bottom and you want it to stay there. You don't want it to float or anything. And then we're going to move on to our liquids. Next, we're coming in with the nettle. Again, I ordered this online on eBay. I will drop the link below. Very inexpensive. This bag was like $5 if I'm not mistaken, and this is a 2 ounce bag or 1 ounce bag. So very lightweight but very potent, and you do not need a lot. I'm only using a tablespoon. That is it. Only a tablespoon. No more, no less. Of course, if you do more, that's on you. I did read and I did see that the more you use, the more potent it is. But for me, I'm not dealing with severe alopecia. I would say if you are, you may want to do 2 tablespoons, but I only did 1. Okay, here is some organic rub sage like I showed you guys before. And again, we only using about a tablespoon's worth. And these ingredients such as the sage, the rosemary, and the thyme, they are kind of optional to a certain extent. I would say if you say, hey, I don't know what to use, I would say depending on how much of hair growth you need will determine which is which. Here's the thyme. I would say that this is more so to cure your scalp from any issues. So like if you're dealing with alopecia or you have recently have a fungus or bacteria is easily to get in your scalp and cause issues, please make sure you use this. If it's just a matter of just growing hair fast, just use the rosemary. But again, you do your research and you choose what is best for you. And again, as you can see, I am struggling to get my ingredients down this hole. So I'm going to have to, do something a little different here. I'm going to add all my ingredients in the funnel because they're going to stay there regardless. And then I'm going to flush them out later once I dump them into the cup, the clear cup that you see back. Which I would say, again, the clear cup is probably a very good thing because you can actually see what you're doing versus the darker cup over there, which is why I end up getting tossed to the side and not really used. But hey, that's just me. Whatever works for you. And as you can see, you're going to have some sprouts or some things wasting around, but get a clean, nice surface and you'll be okay. Here's the amla. And again, I'm adding more amla because amla is a moisturizer. To me, it's similar to Shea Bay. But like, I guess Shea Bay would be the African moisturizer and amla would be the Indian moisturizer. But I think they're pretty much the same. If I would rate them, I'm pretty much sure that they would do the same thing, have the same benefits, help you to keep your hair as you grow your hair. Keep it nice and strong and shiny and help it to be elongated and to retain that length. Because at the end of the day, it's no use of growing it from your scalp if it's just going to break on your ends. And as you can see, this is a no. Do not do this. Thank God I paid attention because I'm wasting. But me saying, thinking about the conscience of the time in the back of my head is like, okay, I got to hurry up. But lesson learned. Get a funnel with a large opening because this is going to be your issue. All right, now we're moving on to the liquids. Okay, organic coconut oil in a liquid form is expensive. This is $15 for this container, but you can get the solid. But with the solid, you will have to go through the work of actually making sure it's melt. And I'm only using half a cup, not a whole cup, just half a cup of liquid of each because I'm using a lot of liquids. Now, there is a dense or smaller mix that you can use where if you just want to stick to what's cheap, just get this solid coconut oil, the extra virgin olive oil, and let that be your liquids. But of course, with me, I love grapeseed oil. Grapeseed oil is very moisturizing. It seals in whatever moisture you apply to your hair prior. It keeps your hair shiny and silky, and it makes for a very good detangler. So I have to have my grapeseed oil because I have frizzy hair. I have tightly curled hair, and because I have high porosity hair, my shafts are always pointing up. So grapeseed oil kind of soothes that or smooths that down for me. So I have to have grapeseed oil. And of course, we're going to go into our next option or our next oil, which is just the extra virgin organic olive oil. And again, preference, what I learned, there is a difference between organic and just virgin of whatever oil you use. Trust me. I thought, no, all the oils are the same and you can't tell the difference, but you certainly can. Now, the only downside is organic items have a shorter life. So remember that when you're doing your mixing and you're holding on to your oils and you're trying to use it. In my case, I sell oils, so of course I get the biggest side I can afford at the time. But if you're just mixing some for yourself, please just stick to the personal size bottles because that way you can ensure that you use it up in time and that you won't have to worry about, it going old or, going to the bad before you even can get to use it. And a little goes a long way. So a 2-ounce bottle should last you about 2 months. And as you can see, I'm adding some castor oil, some organic castor oil. Now, this is usually out of the norm. I usually wait till, once the oil is settled and done to do so. But in this case, I noticed there were some bits and pieces of ingredients left in the cup. So I went ahead and used the castor oil to kind of flush that out so I won't waste it. And I won't actually have to use water. And I'm not wasting any product. So yeah, that's what I decided to do. Another optional oil is avocado. Again, this is an oil that I find that my hair tends to love. It is very, very moisturizing to me, in my opinion. Even more so, I think, than the extra virgin olive oil. But because the olive oil is a great carrier oil, like for a lot of herbs and a lot of powders and things, this is why you probably cannot do without the olive oil. And I believe the olive oil actually makes the oil last longer too, gives it a longer shelf life because it has a longer shelf life. But avocado oil is so moisturizing and so soothing to your hair, especially if you have porosity. If you have not looked into avocado oil, please look into it. A little on the expensive side because, as you can see, that little container costs the same thing, if not a little bit more than the big container of my organic olive oil. And this is how it looks close up. As you can see, nice and earthly. And we're going to shake this up. And again, you want to make sure, now tips, when you store this in a dark, cool place. Keep it away from light. Keep it away from light. Keep it away from light. And make sure, of course, you're using dry utensils, no water, because it will go bad and you will be at a loss. You don't want that. And you want to keep it somewhere where you can keep checking on it. I usually put it in my cabinet under the sink. And this is after it has been shaken for a little while and has settled. Now, this, of course, is another part that is optional. You do not have to do this per se, or you can kind of tilt back on the amount. Because in my case, I've been doing this. I know what my hair can handle. So I'm going to put in almost 2 tablespoons. If you're just starting this out and you just want to test, I recommend just doing 1 tablespoon because this is very strong and this is very potent. And again, this includes 100% natural herbs from India. So that includes neem, brahmi, amla, henna, shikakai. Like all of these things are very potent and they're very strong. So a little really goes a long way. And you want to keep an eye on your proportion of this, like your container or your bottle or whatever you use. And please make sure that you either are using plastic or glass. One, because they're easier to clean and you can actually see through them. Now, for me, preference is glass. Glass is easier to clean. When you're washing them, they dry quicker. They don't hold on to water like the plastic does. And get a container that actually has a top where you can either screw it on or tighten it somehow, because I did notice that when I try to use the cheaper glass jars with just the plastic top, when you went to shake them, liquid and stuff used to come out. So this would move me to use these kind of glasses. And of course, this is just a recycled glass. It was a lemonade bottle, I believe. And of course, I thoroughly cleaned it and I dried it out. But again, whatever your preference is, but whatever, make sure it's clean, make sure it's dry, and that there's no water in it, because water will just it will waste your time, sis. You have to throw this whole thing out because it will mold and mildew and you won't be able to use it, and it will cause a serious fungus on your scalp. Now, of course, we're pretty much, I say 75% done here. Once you add your henna mix with your 9 herbs, as you can see, the oil turns dark and it turns green and is very potent and strong right now. Like, this is going to be some very good and powerful stuff. This is the oil that I actually sell, partially anyway. This is one of the, I want to say meek and humble, but none of these are meek and humble. This is what it looks like when it's done, y'all. Once you drain it with a cheesecloth, or a stocking. I say the cheesecloth is better because it's tighter knitted, so it will actually get more herbs from, getting into your actual oil, because once it gets on your scalp, it's going to be a buildup. Your scalp may be too sensitive for it just to lay there, so you want to just get as much of that out as possible. Here I have essential oils, and this is what I actually add to the smaller bottle once I put my amount in the bottle to use or to sell. Then I choose, or I just concoct whatever essential oil set that I want, or whatever I want to put in, whether it's to promote growth, stimulate, to cure the scalp, stimulate the scalp, and they do matter, and they each have different tasks that they do for your scalp. Now, I do not recommend just dumping all of them in. I do pick and choose depending on customer or desire or issue that I may have at the hand. And I know for me, lately, I've been doing lemongrass. That has been my go-to. Lemongrass, tea tree, and eucalyptus, because I need to heal my scalp. Here's a container that I used prior that I drained with a stocking and a drainer, a regular drainer. And as you can see, there's still bits and pieces here, which is why I say please get a cheesecloth, if you can, or a handkerchief, because it's tightly knitted and it can get this stuff out. But here's what it looks like in a dark bottle. This is where I store it until I want to just, put it in smaller bottles to sell. And voila, this is my growth oil. This is the one that I sell, that I use myself. I love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe. God bless, God bless, God bless.